Welcome or welcome back to WatchAdvisor on YouTube, where the watches are the stars. And on your screen you do see the Omega Seamaster Aqua Terra 150 meter coaxial master chronometer GMT Worldtimer 43mm. Okay, this was the entire naming of this beautiful Omega, but let's do it a little bit shorter. Let's just call it Seamaster Aqua Terra Worldtimer. So, are these the only ones available from the new Worldtimer series? No, of course not. These are the two ones I got for this review. These are watches that are also clearly signed not for sale, means that these watches are not meant to be sold afterwards. They are shown to the press, they are shown to retailers, and yes, of course, to some clients. Of course, in case you do see any little scratches or things that shouldn't be on a watch, this is due to the fact that this is a watch marked to be not for sale, and so it was already in a few hands on several wrists, etc. So there might be a little something on it. So this is of course not how you are going to see it or find it in your Omega boutique.
Don't forget to subscribe and to hit the bell to get our latest notifications.
On the left side you see a titanium version of the Worldtimer, and on the right side a stainless steel version. Let me put away the green one and just put the titanium grade 2-1 version of the Worldtimer on your screen, and let me give you the essential measurements of the watch. So the case has a diameter of 43mm. The thickness of this watch is 14.12mm, and the so-called lug-to-lug distance, so that's the distance from one lug end to the other lug end, is 50mm. So the bracelet or the strap do taper. The watches are available, not the titanium version, but the steel versions are available also with a bracelet in case you want that. So in between the lugs, in between here you have 21mm, and down in the clasp, as you do see it here on your screen, we come down to 18mm. The same would also apply for the stainless steel braceleting case. This is a rubber strap, nicely done rubber strap that comes with the watch. Some interesting surface design. Also an interesting design on the back side. If you have a quick look, you can see some kind of speed bumps. Yeah, that's nice. Some speed bumps are applied here. This little extra here will help you that the rubber strap is not completely tight to your wrist, and this avoids some sweat. I do see them the very first time on an Omega strap. I think they will be very helpful in summer when you are wearing the watch, keeping a little bit of air floating through your wrist and that rubber strap, and that will also help to avoid that you sweat more than you should probably. Both watches feature a ceramic bezel, absolutely matching the color either of the dial or the rubber strap. The case is waterproof up to 150 meters. This of course applies to all the versions of the Worldtimer. The really nice thing, the amazing thing on these Worldtimers is the inner part of the dial. The dial is always made out of titanium grade 5. On your screen, still on your screen, the version in stainless steel featuring a titanium grade 5 dial. On the titanium version, here it is. See the arrow of the minute hand, and just above it there is a little TI for titanium. So on the titanium version it is also marked that it is a titanium dial, not done on the C version. And what is to see here, that's a world map viewed from above the North Pole. The topographic of the continents and colors obtained by laser ablation. The 24-hour scale is visible through a transparent Hesalite glass. Here, this is visible, is the 24-hour scale. Again, here you have the view on the world map from above the North Pole, and it literally gives you a view on our Mother Earth as if you would fly above the North Pole. The Seamaster Aqua Terra Worldtimer features a screw-down crown. Yes, the case is waterproof up to 150 meters, so you can easily also wear the watch in summer. You can go swimming, even diving if you would want to do it. When you screw up, the first thing is you come in the winding position. That's something you don't have to do very often because it's an automatic movement, of course. You also have a power reserve of 60 hours coming along, so enough of power reserve if you're wearing the watch on a daily basis. You don't have to wind it, but just in case you have to do it, it's in the first position. Now, how do you set such a watch? You do have the major cities indicated and the most important of our time zones. 24 of them are shown on the dial. There are more than this, of course, but not all of them are shown. You do see at 6 o'clock London time, that's UTC or GMT, and right to it, you don't see Paris. Why should they write Paris on a watch? If the watch is manufactured in Switzerland, in Bielle, that's the German expression to say Bienne, that's the French version, Bienne here, but Omega is located in Bielle, and Bienne or Bienne, it's a city where both languages, German and French, are spoken. You know that in Switzerland they speak lots of languages. Italian, Rätoroman, they speak French and they speak German. So Bienne is a city where both languages are spoken, and they decided to put it in the French way. So here you have Bienne, so this is our zone time or time zone. If you want to set the watch, the only thing you have to do is you pull out the crown in the second position and you bring the 24-hour scale to the city you want to have as a reference. In our case, it is Bielle or Bienne. But look, if I would turn, we could take any other city. If we want to position, let's say 10 o'clock to Bangkok, I have done this now here. This would now be our reference time in Bangkok. You can see 10 and you can read Bangkok here. So this would be an option if you would want to have 10 o'clock as your reference time in Bangkok. But, and you can continue doing this around the world, go once around the world. Now it is 10 o'clock in Auckland, etc., etc. So let us come back to Bienne, Bielle, that's where I'm going to now. You can also see that the date went back. Yes, because I went back 24 hours. Has to be the way. So we are back in Bielle, Bienne, Switzerland, reference time 10 o'clock. You don't have to do any more adjustments. Just in case you would have not had your hour hand in the right position, no worries. You would have, as a first step, brought 10 to the arrow of Bienne, that's your reference time, and then you would have adjusted with the one step moving hour hand, the correct time. You wanted to have the 8, because I always show the 8 on the date of our watches, lucky number, here is the 8, and then what you do is you set it to 10 o'clock, and this is all the settings you have to do. Let me make the watch smile again. We have the 8, we do have 10 o'clock as a reference time here in Europe. And now all the readings are easily done. If we go, for instance, here to New York, it is 4 o'clock. Yes, you can see New York is 4 o'clock, etc., etc. So very easy. Wherever you go on the dial, Los Angeles is 1 o'clock. Bangkok is 4 o'clock. Athens, of course, is 1 hour more than our time zone here in Europe. So you do the readings just along the 24-hour scale, referring always to the cities where you are. So in case you are traveling and you want to set the watch the other way around, I will show you how to do this. Once you travel with your Worldtimer and you want to display the local time with the hour and the minute hand on the central dial, this is also an easy exercise to do. So let us assume you arrived to New York. You have been flying over from Europe. It's a time difference of 6 hours, and you have to adjust the watch. So you are coming from Switzerland. Everything is clearly adjusted. 10 o'clock here, 10 o'clock here. New York is 4 o'clock in the morning. That's an easy calculation. Then you go into the position where you can adjust only the hour hand. So first of all, please note that the central second hand will not stop. This would make absolutely no sense because the minutes do not change. In New York, you do have the same minutes, but we do have another hours to be indicated. So you don't have to pull out the crown in the second position where you would have hacking seconds and where the central second hand would stop. You would lose correct time, so it's not necessary to do it. You stay in your second position. And what you do, arriving in New York, here is the setting where we come from Switzerland or from whatever town, whatever city in Europe, and you could just go back 4 hours. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's now your local time indicated on the dial. You do see, of course, New York, it is still night or maybe early morning, and you could easily read again Bienne, 10 o'clock, and all the other references would of course not have changed. They are still the same, and you could make all the readings of all the different cities indicated and the corresponding zone times. All these cities are located in a time zone, but in the time zone there is a zone time. So there is not a time zone watch because a watch is not a map, but on the watch you do read a zone time, and the zone time is 10 o'clock for Bienne, 4 o'clock for New York, etc., etc. So easy to handle, no rocket science at all, and the main advantage, and let me point out this once again, is the fact that once you do the settings for your new local time where you are traveling to, the watch will not stop. And this is of course good because you are talking about a METAS certified master chronometer, and this watch is extremely precise, so it would make no sense at all. It is regulated to 0 plus 5 seconds. It would make no sense to stop the watch and to start readjusting it. Let me quickly show you another example. We have been going to the west. Now let's go to the east. Let's go, for instance, to Tokyo. Tokyo is indicated here, and it is 6 o'clock in the evening. You see here 6 o'clock in the evening. And let's assume we are flying to Tokyo. So once again, you go in, this is the winding position. First is the winding position, and then you slightly pull it out in the second position, the crown, and then you are here. So let's advance our central hour hand to 6 o'clock. There we are. So now we have indicated local time in Tokyo. You have it here, 1800 Tokyo, and still you can read the time in Bienne, 10 o'clock, Athens, 11 o'clock, etc., etc. And New York is still here shown with 4 o'clock in the morning. That's where we have been just before. So that's really an easy way to read the different zone times in the different time zones. The only little flaw maybe is that everything is quite little. I do wear glasses, so in case you do need glasses, it will be almost impossible to read anything from the dial without glasses, but this is how it is. You can read the time. That's good. The contrast is always good. So you can always read the time, even probably the date, but all the other indications, you probably need your glasses. This is maybe the flaw. And this is also why the watch has a diameter of 43 millimeters. So if in case you are now thinking, oh, it's again a big watch, why Omega is always producing this big watch. Readability is king. And why making such a watch in 39 or whatsoever, 40 millimeters, you can't read anything. It's even difficult on a 43 millimeter watch. So this is how the watch works. And now let me quickly show you the caliber 8938 that is powering this Aqua Terra watch. The Omega caliber 8938 is a 3.5 Hertz movement. The balance wheel is oscillating at a speed of 25,200 semi-oscillations. The power reserve coming from 2 barrels is 60 hours. The watch is completely certified as a master chronometer by Meta, so the entire watch is withstanding magnetic fields up to 15,000 Gauss. This means that it is absolutely wearable under all conditions. You should never tumble into any problems when you get close to a strong magnet, and this happens every day because they are all around us. They are part of our life. The major enemy today of a watch is no longer the case that might be not enough waterproof or dustproof or the movement not being enough shockproof. All these things have been eliminated and are fully under control. But when it comes to magnetism, if you are not, as Omega does, using a silicone balance spring, and if you're not applying the technology to eliminate all the parts in the movement that could be magnetized and replace them with parts that cannot be magnetized, then you will never achieve a METAS certification. Omega does. The watch is regulated to 0 plus 5 seconds, is being tested under 3 different temperatures, shocks, etc., etc. So it's really a tough testing they're doing. It is officially certified by METAS, the Institute of Metrology in Switzerland. So this is an official authority and they supervise everything. And only if everything is done as METAS wants, Omega may call the watch a master chronometer. So coaxial escapement, of course, and it's a nice luxury finish that also applies rhodium-plated rotor and bridges, Geneva waves in arabesque, and blackened screws, barrels, and balance wheels. So a really nice movement. As always, I do also show you the date change. And now the Worldtimer, the Omega Worldtimer, is set to 12 o'clock. You see here Bienne, Biel again, 12 o'clock. And I have been pulling out the crown in the second position. You see that the central second hand has stopped. And I will now start to move 12 hours. You can follow the time disc moving with us, showing the different zone times. And now we are approaching 11 o'clock. And you see already now a little bit of a movement here of the 8. And as we continue, the time or the date change is happening more or less precisely at midnight. I have been seeing the jump from 8 to 9 at, 2 minutes to midnight. How do you do quick adjustments of the date? If you have to do any adjustments of the date that are far away, so if you want to adjust the watch, let's say to the 22nd, okay, then what you have to do is this. You pull out the crown and you have to really go twice around to get back to midnight. To get back to midnight, you hear me? And yes, I said the 22nd, and I will continue talking to you until we reach the 22nd. And we have been now reaching 19th, the 20th. It is, a little bit, it takes some time, but it's no big deal. And it's fantastic haptic on top coming back from your watch, so it is nice playing around. I'd call it playing around with your watch and not setting the date, because it is also a joyful thing to set the date and to manipulate such a watch. So now we, for instance, have arrived to the 22nd. Everything would be set. You then pull in the crown, then you screw down. If I can do this with gloves, you can do it always easily. There we go. If you have been asking yourself, are the hour indexes and the hands made out of gold? Yes, they are. So this is 18 karat moonshine gold diamond brushed, filled with super luminovas. And if we take the titanium version, of course, no, they are not, but they are blackened matte to give an excellent contrast and readability of time. If you take the black hands versus the gray titanium grade 5 dial, there is a perfect contrast, and the readability of time, especially on this version, is very good. Maybe not as good on the version in green, the beautiful version in green with the green dial, the contrast in between the moonshine gold and the green and the map. Lots of information. It could lead to some problems to read the time, but I only say could. Depends always, but readability with the titanium version simply is excellent. How do you adjust the length of the rubber strap? That's a pretty easy exercise. You see the folding clasp, but there is a pin here. The thing you have to do is you have to find out the length of your wrist, and then I, for instance, know if I would want to wear the watch that I have to go into the second last little hole, and I have to squeeze in the pin, and you see you have to go underneath this little edge here, this edge, and then you go, the pin comes out, and then it is set, and then you can easily open and close it. There are 2 push pieces on it, and with those 2 push pieces you have to press on both at the same time, otherwise it will not open up. Then you can open up and close it. This folding clasp is in titanium grade 2, and if I take the steel version, is made out of stainless steel, written also here, stainless steel, as well as you will see the words titanium written here. This is a titanium folding clasp. I still owe you the price of the watch. So the titanium version, titanium grade 2 case version, is sold in Austria for 13,300 euro, including 20% VAT. Be careful if you want to have a net price to deduct 16.666%, and then you will get a net price. So 13,300, and the stainless steel version is sold for 11,500 euro, also including 20% VAT. So be careful if you want to compare the price. It's always depending on the VAT, etc., and how it is being indicated. Good to know also that all Omega watches do feature an international warranty of 5 years. So if you buy the watch, you will have a guarantee of 5 years. You will get a METAS certification on top. You will have a red card coming with it. On the red card, you can scan the QR code, and through the QR code, you will get all the results of your individual watch, how your watch performed during the tests that lasts for around 2 weeks. If you still have questions, let me know. Use the comment section and ask your questions. Tell me how you like those watches. Is it something you consider to wear as a frequent traveler or a jet setter? Would it be nice to have such a watch? Is it also cool to have one if you are more or less working from your office, but you are dealing with the entire world and you need these indications? What time is it there and that? So is it helpful for you? Yes or no? Just share some thoughts. I'm keen to read those comments. Thanks for watching another video on WatchAdvisor on YouTube, where the watches are the stars. This is why you didn't see me. You just heard me talking, but this is how it is here on WatchAdvisor. It's no personality show, but on your screen always the watches. So thanks once again. Be sure to recommend our channel, to subscribe if you haven't done this yet, also to our Instagram account, and to come back very soon on our channel. Bye bye.